Welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. Deadly twin blast outside Kabul airport killed dozens. Islamic State claims responsibility. Rinnai develops micro-bubble bath unit for human health in Japan. And Kathmandu devotees celebrate Gai Jatra for salvation of departed souls. Let's begin the show. Evacuation has been the buzzword since Taliban took over Afghanistan on 15th of August. And while some have managed to evacuate their citizens and save their lives, others find themselves in perilous situation. And now, with a twin blast by Islamic State of Khorasan right at the center of the evacuation point of Kabul airport, even boarding an available outbound flight has become no lesser than dicing with death.
Terrorists broke into the empire of terrorists and unleashed mayhem, killed dozens of innocents and wounded even more. This is the most important takeaway of the week in Afghanistan, where the situation is deteriorating with every single minute. Islamic State, which has been at loggerheads with Taliban over the control of territory, has done to it what the militant group itself has been doing to Afghans for years. In the twin blasts that claimed over 100 lives, including more than a dozen of US Marines, the Islamic State has just rung the alarm bells for the Taliban, and the so-called the Great Game of Afghanistan is seemingly entering into an even more dangerous stage. Another major takeaway that is no short of mother of irony is that Taliban has condemned the attack as a terror attack. And now it is not just the Taliban that is set to see a treacherous road, but those stranded in the country are fearing even more for their lives. German Minister of Defense said that evacuation has become even harder and has urged its citizens to not travel without security.
Aber wir befinden uns jetzt in der sicherlich hektischsten, in der gefährlichsten, in der sensibelsten Phase. Wir wissen, dass die Terrordrohungen sich massiv verschärft haben, dass sie deutlich konkreter geworden sind. Das Außenministerium hat heute Nacht auch die entsprechenden Personen in Kabul entsprechend informiert, dass sie nicht mehr auf eigene Faust zum Flughafen kommen sollen.
Earlier in the week, the Taliban ordered that no Afghan will fly out of the country, while the foreign nationals were asked to leave by, on or before the deadline of 31st August. They even announced the list of their cabinet that will run the country. Meanwhile, India, that has kept its cards close to chest despite aware of the threat that Taliban, which has been working in cohesion with Pakistan's ISI, has doubled down its efforts on evacuating its citizens. This batch of people in an Indian paramilitary bus is the sixth fortunate group that was evacuated from Afghanistan before things turned from chaotic to absolute mayhem at Kabul airport. New Delhi says it has safely brought back most of its citizens. The recent flight also brought Nepalese nationals and some Afghans who had sought Indian assistance. While underlining a united position on Afghanistan across Indian political spectrum, Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar said that his team was committed to bring back the remaining Indians too.
We have under Operation Devi Shakti done 6 flights. The latest flights was this morning, which took off at 3 o'clock. We have brought back most of the Indians, but not all of them. There are still a few out there. Some of them could not make it for the flight yesterday. But definitely we will try and bring out everybody. We have also brought out some Afghan citizens who wanted to come to India at this point of time.
Indian government also ensured that its nationals were safe even during the Taliban raids and a growing threat of them being targeted by ISI-backed ragtags.
हम लोग बाहर का सिचुएशन हम लोग को मालूम नहीं है, तो हम लोग काम करते थे यूएस आर्मी बेस के अंदर, काबुल के अंदर, एयरपोर्ट के अंदर. So I don't have any idea, Taliban's. Yeah. ये बताइए काबुल एयरपोर्ट का फिलहाल क्या स्थिति है? सही है, अभी पूरा इवैक्यूएटेड कर रहे हैं लोग, बस सही है, मालूम है.
The situation in Afghanistan stands at a point where even the United States, supposedly the most powerful country under the sun, is appearing helpless. Apart from condemning attacks and expressing solidarity from a distance, Washington hasn't been able to control even one situation in Afghanistan in past 2 weeks. And this has left observers to only wonder if the States has really run out of ideas to deal with the Taliban and other terrorist groups that pose a great threat to it and its allies, or it is all a smokescreen to hide the script that was written by the US itself.
And now, let's talk about COVID-19 situation in the region, which has taken a backseat in newsrooms amid spiraling Afghan situation. While India has reached another milestone of inoculating 600 million doses with daily average reaching as high as 5 million, a ravished Afghanistan, which already had a crippled health system, has witnessed an 80% weekly decline since it was seized by the Taliban. Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, which is registering a record number of cases, cardboard coffins, an innovative invention replacing wooden casket, is hitting the headlines. Have a look.
A box factory in Dehiwala, Mount Lavinia city near capital Colombo is assembling a special product, cardboard coffins. Made out of recycled paper, which costs as low as 1/6 of even the cheapest wooden casket in the country, the cardboard coffin will also bring down the need of wood, thereby helping in environment conservation. Priyantha Sahabandhu, the local municipal councillor who came up with this idea, says that cardboard option has emerged as a viable option for the poor amid a record surge in cases in the country. So far, 350 cardboard coffins have been delivered since early 2020, and the factory is making another 150 ordered by the council.
400ක් විතර මරණ ඇති වෙනවා සාමාන්‍ය මරණ. ඒ සඳහා පෙට්ටි 400ක් කියන්නේ ගස් 250 300ක් විතර දවසකට කපන්න ඕන වෙනවා මේ සඳහා. අන්න ඒ පරිසර විනාශය අවම කිරීම සඳහා concept එකක් විදියට මම 2019 වර්ෂයේ සෞඛ්‍ය කමිටුවට ඉදිරිපත් කළා.
Meanwhile, India's drug regulator has granted emergency use approval for Zydus Cadila's COVID-19 vaccine, the world's first DNA shot against the coronavirus in adults and children aged 12 years and above. Experts say this is set to provide a further momentum to the world's largest vaccination program, which has already acquired a steady pace of immunizing nearly 5 million people every day. The country aims to completely immunize its entire adult population of around 944 million by December. The vaccine Zycov-D uses a section of genetic material from the virus that gives instructions as either DNA or RNA to make the specific protein that the immune system recognizes and responds to.
If you look at our event data, all our event data was post April and May. And we know that in India, 99% of all COVID cases were driven by the Delta variant. Even if you look at our vaccine in terms of when we did the DNA analysis or the analysis of the variants for the breakthrough events that happened, all of them were the Delta variant. So I think for us, what we can safely say is that our efficacy against the Delta variant in the interim analysis is about 66%. And obviously, we have not seen any breakthrough infection with any other mutant. So that's the current efficacy that we can talk about.
And while at front, Afghans are reeling under Taliban return, its vaccine program too has gone for a toss amid the chaos and killings. As per UNICEF, a United Nations agency, the vaccination rate, which was dismal even during a relatively stable Afghanistan, has suffered a major blow during Taliban takeover, with immunization going down by 80% in the week that followed the conquest. Even more concerning is the fact that the Johnson & Johnson vaccines that were delivered to Afghanistan under COVAX program will expire in a few weeks. And with Taliban's possible skepticism to vaccines, the looming troubles for Afghans are just going to multiply in coming days.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
Meishan Terminal at the Ningbo Zhoushan Port, the world's third busiest port located in East China's Zhejiang province, resumed operation Wednesday after a lockdown to control a resurgence of locally transmitted coronavirus cases were lifted. A dock staff member at the port tested positive for the novel coronavirus and was confirmed as asymptomatic on the same day. The Meishan Terminal, one of the 19 subports of the Ningbo Zhoushan port, implemented the shutdown from 3:30 on August 11. In the past half month, 3 rounds of mass nucleic acid testing had been carried out in key areas such as Meishan Subdistrict and Beifeng Subdistrict in Ningbo City, and more than 130,000 samples had been collected, all of which were negative. Thanks to the early detection, swift quarantine measures, and effective emergency response, the port not only suffered minor impact during this round of COVID-19 resurgence, officials said at press conference. Stricter controls of flows of management were conducted at the port to avoid more COVID-19 cases involving whole process, whole chains, and all personnel.
The United States will donate 1 million Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine doses to Vietnam, Vice President Kamala Harris said while on her state visit to the country this week. Vietnam has fully inoculated just 2% of its 98 million people, among the lowest in Asia, as it opted for containment policy and did not rush to procure vaccines which it deemed financially too risky due to a severe global shortage. Ties between Hanoi and Washington have grown closer more than 4 decades after the Vietnam War ended in 1975. However, Washington has said there are limits to the relationship until Hanoi makes progress on human rights. Analysts say Vietnam wants to upgrade its diplomatic relations with the United States to a strategic partnership, but is concerned such a move would anger Beijing. Malaysia swore in a new Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob as the Southeast Asian nation battles its worst COVID-19 surge and public anger grows over mismanagement of the pandemic. The appointment of Ismail Sabri restores the role to a party tainted by graft accusations after he secured a parliamentary majority from the same alliance that collapsed this week and replaced Muhyiddin Yassin. Ismail Sabri, formerly Muhyiddin's deputy, was sworn in at the National Palace after being picked by King Al Sultan Abdullah, the constitutional monarch. He took the oath of the office in front of the monarch and other coalition leaders, including former Prime Minister Najib Razak. He becomes Malaysia's third Prime Minister since the 2018 election after UMNO pulled its backing for Muhyiddin last month, citing his failure to manage the pandemic.
Moving on to Japan, a country which has the best of both worlds. While the companies in the country continuously introduce new products to make life easier and convenient, people here often draw inspiration from nature. Recently, Rinnai Company in the capital Tokyo City developed a micro-bubble bath unit, which is believed to be beneficial for health. And visitors soak in the beauty of Kamakura Snow Dome village and taste local delicacies. Let's have a look.
Japanese company Rinnai is famous for gas stoves and water heater. Recently, it has developed thermal energy tools and machinery. The over a century-old company continues to produce advanced devices to improve social life. In 1918, the founder of Rinai, Hidejiro Nato, invented an oil-gas cooking stove. It aims to realize comfortable daily life based on the principle of contribution to society. The latest micro and ultrafine bubble technology of Rinai provides a comfortable bath unit. The bubble has 3 categories, which are milli, micro and ultrafine. The process by which a fine bubble is created is made possible by Rinai's accumulated technology.
今回特にやはりこだわった製品開発でこだわったのはこちら循環金具になっておりまして、お湯を吐き出す口になるわけなんですけれども、こちらノズル形状、試作をですね30個以上も繰り返しながら開発に至りましたけれども、このノズル開発が非常にこの細かい泡を生み出す部分でキーデバイスになっておりまして、圧倒的な白く濁るといった演出に一役買っております。
Micro and ultrafine bubbles technology is beneficial for health. It penetrates the pores of the skin and keeps the skin hydrated. The bubbles even help to remove dirt from skin. Rinai is also conducting a clinical trial in nursing homes for the elderly to further improve the functioning of the product.
お風呂をですね、非常に幻想的に白く濁らせることができる、非常に毎日のバスタイムがリラックスできるという特徴がございます。温まりが持続するだとか、肌の汚れを洗浄するような効果があるとかですね、そういったさまざまな効果を同時に提供できると、一般ご家庭のですね給湯システムということでラインナップとして持っております。バブルが含まれているお湯というのが供給できればですね、例えば食器を洗う部分ですとか、入浴浴槽に浸からなくてもですねシャワーとして体を洗うという部分で同じような効果が得られるというところでは、多くの方に効果を感じていただけるんじゃないかなというふうに思います。
Rinai policy is to raise quality daily life by introducing new advanced products for over the next 100 years. Some parts of northern Japan witnesses severe winter weather and unprecedented snowfall. Located in Nagano Prefecture, Lyama City has cleverly transformed those pesky heavy snows into a snow dome or Kamakura restaurant. Visitors come here from across Japan to enjoy unique experiences and taste traditional dishes in the annual village of Snow Dome. The idea started 22 years ago when people used to shovel snow off-road and pile it into empty field. To keep the kids entertained, they turn it into a snow dome. Then the idea expanded to an annual festival to attract visitors. And with more heavy snowfall, the festival becomes necessary to get rid of the excess snow. But the process of building dome became easier thanks to clever idea.
積み上げてやってる子供の頃はやったんだけども、でここの人たちはその、丈夫な布で、風船作って、でその風船のところにその除雪機で水を飛ばして人間が振り固めて、作り出す。それで大体ね、7、8年で周りで指飛ばして踏み固めて、最初はこういうねもっと三角形斜めのやつだったらしいんですけども、写真見るとね、でそれをそうだね大体1時間から1時間半ぐらいで作り上げて。
Visitors can enter the dome for free outside lunch and dinner. Later, these domes converted into restaurants. The cost of renting single dome is about $30 for an hour and a half. It includes local delicious meal. In this nearby kitchen, women from the town prepare local dishes using mushroom, karos, miso sauce and meat. Then it is taken by staff to each snow dome. Project organizers are keen to present everything with local flavor, so visitors can enjoy home dishes taste.
この鎌倉は、携帯で調べてで来たんですけど、この鍋もとっても美味しいです。
Visitors can also stay until evening to enjoy dinner with another atmosphere in the place through the lighting of candles around Snow Dome. Apart from this, there are lanterns to complete the unique tourism experience in this beautiful Japanese town.
Moving on to the Himalayan nation of Nepal, where scores of Hindus gathered at the famous World Heritage Site Basantpur Darbar Square in capital Kathmandu to celebrate the annual Gai Jatra festival. Gai Jatra, also called as Cow Festival, is celebrated every year to commemorate the death of loved ones. Scores of Hindus gather every year at the UNESCO World Heritage Site Basantpur Darbar Square in Nepal's capital Kathmandu to mark a peculiar Gai Jatra. Gai means cow, while Jatra is for musical procession. The festival falls on the first day of the waning moon in the month of Bhadra, the 5th month of the lunar calendar. It is celebrated every year in memory of their deceased loved ones, with the belief that their souls will attain salvation. Children dress up as deities and people of all ages in the guise of cows and lunatics go around the city to commemorate those who died in the family. Bereaved families offer fruits, bread, beaten rice, curd and money to those participating in the procession, including the cows.
यो हरेक घरबाट दिवंगत आत्माको चिर शान्ति कामना होस् भनेर यो गाई जात्रा निकालिएको हो। यो चाहिँ नि मेरो मम्मी बितेको अहिले 1 वर्ष भयो। उहाँको सम्झनामा उहाँको आत्माले चिर शान्ति कामना होस् भनेर मैले गाई जात्रामा हिँडिरहेको छु।
Although popular across the country, Gai Jatra is mostly observed by the Newari and Tharu communities of Nepal. It is believed that the festival derives its name from the religious belief that the deceased during their journey to heaven cross a legendary river by grabbing the tail of a cow. Family members of the deceased of the past years sent people, mostly children, dressed as cows to parade on the streets. The persons who dress up as cows also have an artificial tail, which has the same purpose.
बिहान चाहिँ नि नुहाई धुवाई गरेर चोखो बस्यो। अहिलेसम्म केही पनि खाएको छैन। अब यो परम्परा अनुसार गाई जात्रा लिएर हिँडिरहेको छु। अहिले टोलमा गाई जात्रा लिएर हिँडिसकेपछि बजार डुलिसकेपछि मेरो कर्म पूरा गरिसकेपछि म घर गएर फेरि नुहाई धुवाई गरेर चोखो खान्छु।
The people glorify the deeds of their deceased through songs and hymns in order to inform and encourage others. Apart from this, the funeral rites are completed after people conclude their city-wide musical procession. It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.